Hi, hello. Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where we hopefully help you become a better speedrunner, but probably won't. I'm Corv. Maybe you can call me May or she or her.
I'm Swoos. You can call me SWC, or he, or they.
And joining us this week, it's the Valiant Sun.
Hello, I'm the Valiant Sun, but you can call me Jess, or they, or she.
You might have seen Valiant on our GDQ Hotfix show. Check that out every other Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we decided that it would be fun to have our same guest on again because that's how we do things around here. And as always, we were right.
Yeah.
I'm
We
just
would
going
never
to
make a
assume we're
wrong
right.
decision.
I'm happy to be here. Super glad you're having me back.
Check out that run if you haven't seen it. It was a fun time.
It was good. I read the YouTube comments because the VOD went out, and like the top comment was like, "I never expected a Stardew run to be so chaotic, but it was." I'm like, yeah,
I feel at this point, that just means you haven't seen the Stardew run.
it's true.
I feel like they all kind of go that way. Every time I've seen one, it's just like, oh god, everything's crumbling.
Most runs, they're either perfectly optimized, or it is a chaos gremlin, and there's no in between.
I feel like the calmest games tend to have like the games that are all about like good vibes and things like that. All tend to have absolute nightmare runs. That's my theory.
They're yeah, like the overlap between comfy game and comfy run seems to be low.
I think part of it is you kind of have to like comfy runs. I feel like the game doesn't want you to do it fast. The game wants you to take your time, and so it's punishing you for your hubris. But we have the expert here, so what do you think?
Oh, 100%, it is punishing us for our hubris. You want to go fast? What? I made these cool animations, and you want to cancel them? No.
Okay, well, in Stardew's case, though, isn't that like a built-in feature?
It is, but it was introduced as a debugging tool in case you got stuck in the fishing animation.
Still counts.
And true.
Uh, so, speaking of the expert, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about your history, how you got into speedrunning, how you found yourself where you are today, the whole story. Give us the like documentary. It started on one fateful day.
True. It all started when I was born.
Ooh.
Okay,
Um,
that might be a
but
little bit more than we want.
but actually, I've been watching GDQ basically since it's 2017, 2018. I just love it so much. And I always looked at it and I was like, dang, I do not have the hand-eye coordination for these runs that have like the huge APMs or those like really fun glitchy things. And so I just kind of always looked from afar and was like, dang, I wish I could do that. And then I got back on my Stardew kick, as I do probably like once every couple of years. You know, it's kind of like The Sims. Like you play and then you don't touch it again, and then you play a bunch.
Oh yeah.
Was on a Stardew kick, and my partner pulls up a video of Stardew Valley speedrunning. It was Legally Cute on GDQ, and it was Blackheart Wings, who was on ThinkFast with us. And he was like, hey, you like this game. You can speedrun it, apparently. And I was like, frick, yeah, let's go. And so I joined the speedrun Discord. I met Gabby, Blackheart Wings, through that. And then it just kind of took off from there. I learned the run that she was doing, which was the crafts room run. She introduced me to the Frame Fatales group, and then I joined that, and then for Flame. She came into my stream and was like, "Hey, have you submitted anything for Flame?" And I was like, "I don't really have anything." So she helped me come up with a run, and then we got in, and then from there it's just kept going. And now I was on AGDQ, I guess, like last month, and
God, it really
now I'm
was a month
here.
ago.
It really was.
It feels so much longer than that.
Oh, I feel so old. AGDQ 2023 was a month ago.
Only 90 kids will remember AGDQ 2023.
Only 90 kids will remember
Only
this.
90
Only
kids. Yeah,
90 of
yeah,
them.
exactly. I was on audio for that run, so I got to watch the whole. Or I was. It's less I got to watch, and more I was like obligated to watch the entire run. But
You were audioing the whole thing.
yes, not that
Did
I
you
wouldn't
listen
have
to it?
watched it otherwise. Otherwise, I had to. I had no
Ooh.
choice. And
Oh.
if it sounded badly, sounded badly, like the words I just said, if you were watching it and you thought it sounded bad, I wasn't on audio actually. That was a bit.
Yeah. That
But
was
if it
someone
was
else.
good, then that is what happened. So I got to just sit there and be like, I have to pay attention to this because I have a problem where I'll watch marathons and then space out like nobody's business. Which is why I like working them because I end up watching a lot more runs than I would otherwise. And it was a good run, so you should check it out.
It
I know that I
was.
kind of phrased that whole thing as I was forced to watch it, but that's not what I meant.
I was
What I
forced to
meant,
run it, therefore I guess I liked it.
I'm gonna dig the hole
Hmm.
deeper. What I meant was like because I paid attention to the whole thing because I was locked into doing
You were
work.
required to.
I was like, this was good. You should watch this run. I'm gonna shut
Yeah.
up now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I highly recommend the run because, as we said, um, that run on AGDQ was the pinnacle of what if everything that could possibly go wrong in this run happened.
That's the best
Like,
kind of marathon run.
it really is. Both, like, I think one of us said that it's never happened before, and that was actually true. I had some luck that I didn't even know was possible
Heck
to
yeah.
have just that bad during that run.
It was an absolute RNG nightmare, and you should watch it because it was good. And then literally during that, multiple hotfix showrunners, including us, were like, "Well, we gotta have him on. We gotta. That was so good.
Yeah.
We gotta have him on." And we technically got beaten to the punch, but then, listen, things
Yeah,
came
well,
up.
we had the idea first.
Yeah, I think we get full. Yeah, um,
And
it
we're cooler.
in yeah when they do like the summoning salt documentary about Stardew Valley, it'll be like, and then both of them were on Think Fast, and it was good.
That's
True.
exactly how it is.
Yeah, this has been a weird line of interviewing that we've done, I think, or mostly me, where I floundered my way through going, I watched it. Also, we made you in a weird way, and
Damn.
I don't know what's happening.
Our show has developed an ego that cannot be satisfied.
Yeah. Let the record show that it's mostly that we're recording weirdly early today, and
Yeah.
yeah, this is a
Yeah.
mess. This is not our best work, Smooth.
Don't say that. Then they'll know
No.
that we have good work.
Then in post, add like a voiceover of you
I would
going
never.
best. Valiant. Uh,
Yeah.
how was doing GDQ?
Oh, it was amazing. I just wow, just so many people. Too many people maybe. Um like the Stardew community in general, I guess. We're pretty I guess I don't want to say we're pretty small cuz we were for a bit on like the top for like most active leaderboards on SRC. Um but like when there's an event, oh my gosh, they show up just all the time. And
This
that's just crazy to me, like, in the best way.
the Stardew Valley community shows up so hard. It's kind of wild. I'm like, if we could get the Pokemon community to agree on one thing for like 4 minutes to show up, it would be incredible. But we can't. So then
Yeah, that's
I
the
look at the
problem.
Stardew community where it's like we're doing the Stardew Valley Awards and 1,000 people are watching. It's like, wow, that's a lot of people for one community. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I think we had something like we had a couple thousand votes. I can't remember the number for like the final round of voting for that.
That's wild.
That's
Yeah.
like there's like a level of just coordination that your community is capable of doing that like I don't know any other speedrunning communities that are that like cohesive.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like there are communities that have thousands of people, but
Thousands of people parentheses derogatory like
yeah, right. That's not necessarily a good thing.
yeah, like it's
Um,
good that people are interested in the game, but also it just means like it just results in a lot of friction.
right.
Um whereas seeing a game where the community at least from an outside observer appears to be very like across the board um friendly and chill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
No,
Because
Um,
I love it.
a lot of times in larger communities, you end up getting like there. I mean, communities in general, but especially larger communities, there's a lot of elitism that happens, where it's
yeah.
like the upper echelon of runners, and then like the hundreds of people that are trying to be them, and that's not good.
No, and that's actually was like I think one of the things was looking outside at some of like the other speedrun communities. Like I had a built-in like fear of trying to, start something new and then like what if I like wasn't very good and like would people help me?
Hmm.
And like I got very overwhelmed and so for a while I was like watching people stream runs and I was lurking in the speedrun Discord, but I wasn't doing any runs myself because I was like, ah, that's scary. Like, there are all these people, and like, the only runs that everyone always was like, oh, I want to get involved and start doing this were all the community center run, which is the top player is 2 hours, 30 minutes. The average player is around 4 hours. And so that was like a huge undertaking was, oh, do I want like my first speed game to have a 4 hour run? I don't know. And then luckily saw um, these shorter bundle runs and then started getting into those. And I think it was super awesome to be able to go on AGDQ and show off one of these, short, supposed to be 20-minute runs. Um, and get people involved. And I help verify for SRC, and the number of people who've submitted the crafts room run now is just like it's popped off. But there is so much help in the community where just everyone is willing to kind of give you information to tell you the things that you need, and it's just I've never met such a helpful community before, and the fact that it also aligns with a very wholesome game is really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you think the nature of the game itself plays into that at all? But it sounds
Maybe
like
a
yes.
bit. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it makes sense to some extent where like a game that is doesn't have any like is about make a lot of it a lot of, I mean, there are goals in it, but a lot of it is about making your own goals being actually I don't know though, because like Harvest Moon's community, questionable. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Y-
I
You
mean, Minecraft exists,
That's true.
so not to
it's
disparage the
it's
Minecraft community, but eh,
it's the
eh,
dichotomy again
yeah.
of, like the runs are either absolutely perfect or chaos. The wholesome game community is either super wholesome or chaos or
You know
Honestly,
that
yeah.
sometimes both.
You know that
Yeah.
one meme with the Yu-Gi-Oh card art, and it's like the haunted house, and then like the nice house, and it's the path branching? That's your speedrunning community.
There you go.
You can either be a like competitive hellscape, or you could be a nice, wholesome, competitive heavenscape.
Heaven.
Is that
Competitive
anything?
heaven.
Competitive heaven.
Ranked competitive heaven.
Episode title.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that like?
Isn't that
Sorry,
what?
I was
Nope,
just
I wasn't going anywhere with that. I wanted to break the silence with a segue, and I did not have
Oh,
anything. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say ranked competitive heaven. I think is like a tenet of some sect of Christianity, actually, or it's like you have to be in the top level of good people, or else you gotta wait to get into heaven.
It's like
Wouldn't it?
Doom, but you're in heaven
I
instead of hell.
I do feel like that's somewhat contradictory though too, where it's like if then that implies that to some extent, if you're aware of that, that this welcome to our theology podcast.
Yeah, right. How
That
deep are we
you
going
are
into this topic?
that you are then doing it. You are then doing good with the express purpose of getting your good place points higher,
Getting the high score on
which
the
you would
leaderboard
think.
of
Which I
good.
guess it depends on how consequentialist you feel like, or intent based you feel like being about it. This is not. This is. I don't.
Anyways, I
This
have
is
nothing more
nothing.
to contribute to this.
Yeah, that's. I could contribute more to this, but I think that my I am already in like a very a weird sort of podcasting headspace today. I don't think we need to go down. I don't think we need to double down on it.
Follow our second channel, speedrunning and religion? Question mark.
Speedrunning as religion.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah. Where each community is its own. Oh God, speedrunning as religion would be a fucking nightmare.
That is not a good idea.
Yeah. Like you think that there's like top run worship right now.
Yeah, there's already too much of that, I think.
What
I
if
don't think we
top
need
run
this.
worship parentheses literal? I guess there is sort of an as above so below sort of aspect to it where you copy the top runs strats.
True.
Think about it.
I won't.
And then the rules tend to be dictated by top runners in a lot of older communities.
Whoa, curious.
Perhaps we've always been this way. Think about it. Wake up.
No.
Okay. I mean, that was you yesterday. Fun behind the scenes thing is
True.
we're recording this late because we slept through the recording time yesterday.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah.
huge shout outs to Valiant for being willing to deal with us.
I think deal's the wrong word. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys.
Stop.
Pretty cool.
Even after I stumbled through that entire first 10 minutes of podcast, you're too nice.
The first intro.
That's
You gotta have a chaos in a podcast or something, because like you gotta catch attention. You don't have the visual, so you just gotta keep them guessing on where we're going.
That's why we talk about religion and
Angry Birds.
and Angry Birds at the same time.
Exactly. That has to exist. I will not go look it up right now.
We'll go into that next bonus episode.
Okay. But what else have you tried running?
I have my first ever run was actually unpacking Darkstar.
Darkstar's so funny.
But specifically just the first level.
Okay.
I had world record for a brief second. I did that through the it was the game of the month for Frame Fatales. The month I joined, I had just finished playing the game casually, and then I joined the server, and it was like, voting for the game of the month has concluded. We're doing unpacking, and I was like, how convenient.
Good.
So I tried that, and then I've been wanting to do Chicory as a run as well, but mostly just a lot of Stardew. I've been really there's so much to do in the game that I think it's gonna be a while, if ever, if I get bored of running that as my main game.
That is very fair. I like respect the being like sticking to one thing and just like finding other things to do in it. Because I am very much the kind of person who like I'll play a game casually, but then like speedrun brain will kick in, and I'll be like, I bet the run for this is really good, and then and then I learn it, and then it's like actually kind of a nightmare. But you know,
But yeah, at one point, and I might still, Pokemon speedruns fascinate me. So
let me
maybe I'll have
know.
to.
Hit me up.
I'll hit you up
I'm
sometime.
I'm an accredited 3DS coach, so
Ooh,
I've been paid to do it. I'm a professional.
there you go.
Hi, this is Post Production May, the May that gets added in after the fact. Did you know we have a Patreon? If you're already a Patreon subscriber, this message isn't for you. Thank you, we love you, you can tune out for this part. But if you're not, for only $3 a month, you can get access to episodes early and get a bonus episode at least once per month. The bonus episodes are like different from the regular episodes. They're a lot more unhinged, which is kind of saying something. You get access to all the ones we've already done, even if you subscribe now, so that's cool. We don't want to have to run ads during this program, because ads suck, and supporting us via the Patreon helps us not have to do that. You can check it out at patreon.com/dearpbpod if you're interested and can afford to do so. You're already supporting us by listening to the show and telling others about it, so this is kind of like a bonus thing you could do if you really like it. Okay, cool, I'm done, bye. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon also is a game that you can do things like that, where like I've definitely done a lot of stuff where it's like I am getting like frustrated slash bored with my main category. I'm gonna root some side thing and do that a bit, and it'll be a disaster, but it'll be fun because nobody else is doing it, and so I don't have to worry about the competition kind of thing. And the fun is the puzzle out of it. I should do something else again. I haven't done that in a while. It's fun.
Yeah,
No.
having flexibility in your game is super important
Yes,
if
I
you want to keep
generally agree
playing that
with
game,
that.
at least.
I mean, for a lot, I mean, I guess it depends on the person too, though, because there are definitely people who can just grind out the same category forever and
Yeah,
don't really care. But I think to some extent, having at least one other thing that you can reliably go to is good to prevent burnout.
Yeah,
right.
no. That's actually the one of the things I like about Stardew, as you said, like coming up with new categories or like challenges and things. When I first showed up, I had like all these ideas of could we try doing this, try doing that, and most of them were very dumb because just lack of the game as a speed game rather than things that are fast and casual aren't necessarily fast in a speed run sense.
Yeah,
But what's been very fun is seeing some of these on the side strategies that people have dismissed that end up coming back with a primary one. um, we're gonna plug is the tea sapling strat. There's a item in the game, you take some amount of wood, some amount of fiber, and some wild seeds, which you can get for free from the community center. And that's 30k right there if you can craft them. But you have to become friends with the character that's kind of hard to access in order to learn the recipe. And a whole bunch of people were like, no, it's not worth it. Like, you don't, like, because of that time. And now we've got I have a top time in a money making route using them. They are now used for a top time for a new marriage run, and they're popping up everywhere. And it's just so funny because there is so much pushback for them. And it turns out that things can just perfectly align such that you can use them in some runs, and it's much faster way to make money than the other
mm.
strategies.
Yeah. I am personally a big fan of stubbornly sticking to whatever I'm doing already, so I don't have to think about changing my muscle memory. But I do respect the uh, wait. What if we did it actually faster? Like the whole point of this hobby. Have we considered
Yeah,
that?
but that's hard.
That's what I'm saying. There've been so many, especially early when a new release happens. Like there's so many releases or reroutes, complete total reroutes for a category that I learned that I'm just like, but then I have to learn new stuff. Ugh.
Yeah. It's like, yeah,
What
but
I'm
this
doing
saves
is
55
easy.
minutes. It's like, well, that
Well, that'd be
means
the
I
whole
need to
that'd be the
do
whole
effort.
category for this. But
Yeah.
then it's also like, well, I don't want to run the old stuff now because it's not competitive.
Right.
But then I have to learn. I hate
Speedrunning
learning.
is hard.
That's why
Don't
I'm on Team
recommend.
Think.
Yeah.
That is not necessarily the express stated opinion of this podcast.
Of you.
Jess, are there any games that you've been thinking of learning? World premiere.
World premiere. I've considered learning. It's like outside of some of the Pokemon
Yeah.
games. Fire Emblem,
Okay.
Three Houses sounds like a time. Um, I do have Professor Layton for the DS, and I've thought that would be really fun.
Oh wait, what is that? How long is that even?
I have no idea.
I think it's
I
a
just
couple
own the
hours.
game.
I feel like that's really long.
Oh well,
I'll
then
look it up real quick.
maybe
I
we'll
love
put
me
that
some
one
Professor
off.
Layton. Curious Village. It's an hour 20.
Hour
That's
and a
not
half.
bad.
That's really not bad.
Hour
It
Yeah.
doesn't
20
really seem
emulated.
active. There's like 3 runners, but
Yeah, that's not bad. Can you
Um,
skip cutscenes in that game? No, surely not.
I don't think so.
there are 5 runs on original cartridge.
100% only 2 hours? Wait, this kind of seems sick, actually.
Uh,
I might
Sorry, get
wait
also,
for the
distracted.
Switch game.
there we go. Also, I guess one of the things I'd considered for a while was like Pajama Sam or like the other like point and click like HE games. I just kind of look at them and I was like, that would be kind of fun just to do.
I think they're fun, but I think they're also like super short.
They are. I think
Yeah.
the no need to hide when it's dark outside Pajama Sam's like a minute 20 or something like
Right.
that.
Like
That's
all
my-
the putt-putt games are like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, all the Scum Engine games, I'm like, the part of the problem with that is like, I've considered doing like Sam and Max Hit the Road because I love that game. But then it's like, but part of a lot of the reason why I love that game is the like dialogue. And so skipping all the dialogue, I'm like, but like, then it's just kind of like, there are definitely games where I'm like, this would be a really cool thing to learn, but also like, or like, I love this game, so I'd love to be able to like do it quick. But it's also like, I don't know if I'd love the game if it didn't have the
Right.
things, if I didn't get to do the things about the game that I love, especially more humor-based games where it's like the whole point of it is the character talking and cracking jokes and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm currently reading the root doc for Professor Layton and the Curious Village.
I love that game so much.
It's so good. How do you feel about the new one coming out? I'm so excited.
Oh, I just saw like the little clip from the direct. I haven't delved into it
I think
much
that's all there is.
otherwise. Perfect then. Yeah, cuz I was watching it and then I was like, that art style looks familiar. That looks
Mhm.
I've seen
familiar.
this before. Wait
I've
a minute.
seen this.
Yeah.
And I yelled and it was great.
I never for a second thought that we would get a Professor Layton on the Switch for some reason. It just didn't feel like a thing that they would, because all the other ones were on DS type systems, which makes
DS,
sense
yeah.
for all the puzzles because there are a lot of them about dragon things, stuff like that. So I was like, well, I guess it's never going to happen. Life is sad. I don't know why. Like, there's no reason that they couldn't. So
Right.
And like Switch has a touch screen.
I don't understand why the Switch has a touchscreen, if I'm going to be honest, based on how it's designed. This always confused me because they're like, we want all games to be played docked or undocked. But if you're docked, then you can't use the touchscreen. So it's like, okay, well, great.
Yeah,
And a lot of
right.
games undocked just don't allow you to use the touchscreen as a result. Like Pokemon, you can't do any of the menus with the touchscreen because it's like, well, why would we add that when most people are going to play it docked?
Yeah,
It's
that's
like if the
like
DX expected you to play it closed. Like,
it's wild to me the number of Nintendo. I'm like, I forget that it's touchscreen a lot because the number of Nintendo titles that do come out, and it's like, oh, I can't use this, like, but this would be really convenient to like,
right.
Yeah.
especially like Pokemon menus. Like, you can navigate, but like being able to also like touch them is just would be so nice.
Like the only time I use the touchscreen is like type passwords in.
Mhm.
And I play handheld more than I play docked, other than when I'm streaming. Like I prefer playing the Switch handheld because I like to play it in bed. But it's like even then, it's like, well, nothing supports the touchscreen. So now I've kind of been trained to not even consider using the touchscreen, except for in weird instances where I'm like, oh, this would be so easy if I could just hit this button, and then I tap it and it doesn't do anything. And I'm like, well, okay, great. Thanks,
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Especially when the UI looks like it's made to be touched.
Exactly. Exactly. I just feel like it feels like a remnant of the Wii U.
Yeah.
I
I
forget the
feel
Wii
like
U is a thing sometimes. I'm gonna be real honest.
You
I have
know,
one right next to me. Wait, nope, it's downstairs. I had one right next to me, and then I moved it so I could play Amiibo Festival with people. The only game I play on the Wii U.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Amiibo Festival's a banger. It's
Uh-huh.
Amiibo Festival. So okay, I'm gonna go on a little rant to defend Amiibo Festival for a bit because people love Mario Party because they're sick and twisted. Okay, and Amiibo Festival is like Mario Party. Amiibo Festival is like a what's the term? Like like a farcical Mario Party. It's Mario Party distilled down to its horrible, rotten essence because it is all of the board game randomness without any of the mini games, which half the mini games are random nonsense, anyways. And so it's a game that does two things. One, it shows you that like anybody who's like, I like Mario Party because I like when you're playing Mario Party, like 2/3 of it is the board game, and like a third of it's the mini games. So thirds of it is garbage, and people are still like, "Well, the mini games are good, so it's actually good." It's like, no, no, no. What if we extrapolate this and you get the full board game only? Like, what if it was the worst board game you've ever played? Then it's bad. You see how this is bad, right? And the other thing it does is it's actually a critique of capitalism because the entire thing, the only decisions you make are when to buy and sell turnips and occasionally like which direction you turn. And that is just based on what spaces you random on, which spaces you randomly land on by rolling dice, which is actually lampooning the fact that our economy is inherently random and picks winners and losers out of a thin hat based on who happens to be at the right place at the right time. So it's actually the Amiibo Festival, and you have to buy amiibos in order to like. If you don't buy an amiibo, then you're at a disadvantage because you get fewer victory points if you aren't using an amiibo and are using one of the like default characters it comes with. Another criticism of capitalism. It's actually an incredible piece of satire.
So it's like the game Monopoly was supposed to be until it became like the way that we perceive it culturally now.
Exactly. I bought Amiibo Festival because it was on sale at Fry's Electronics, rest in peace, and thought it'd be funny to bring to a party as a drinking game. And then I have unironically grown to like it because because you don't do anything in the game, essentially. You are just at the whims of the cosmos, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I had more to say about Amiibo Festival than I really thought I did. That just kind of kept happening. I'm sorry.
You got to talk about what you're passionate about, May. That's what we're here for.
Exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
passionate about Animal Crossing amiibos, of which
Interesting.
I bought too many of because I wanted to speedrun Amiibo Festival and then learned it's actually really boring to speedrun. And also you can't use use the amiibos to speedrun. You can only use the amiibo cards for that mode, which I didn't realize. So I bought the actual amiibos because, like, I mean, I'd rather get the amiibo than the amiibo cards. They cost the same amount, but you can't actually use the amiibos. You have to only use amiibo cards, even if you have the full amiibo of the same character. That one is not a scathing take at our socioeconomic systems. That one's just bad. That's just a bad thing.
That is just bad game design.
Unlike the rest of the game, which is flawless.
Yeah.
How many horses? We haven't asked this question in a while. How many horses are in Stardew Valley?
There is at least one.
So if you don't know our definition of a horse, it's perhaps a little different than what you might be used to.
All right.
Anything that you could ride is a horse.
There are horses proper, so
There are
you do
horses
have at least
proper,
that.
and those are still horses. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So there is one horse you can buy by building a stable.
That's okay.
There are the minecart system. You can ride that as like a sort
Mhm.
of fast travel. So
The
that would
laborer's
be
horse.
the laborer's horse, the minecart. Let's see. There's the boat that takes you to Ginger Island, which is some 1.5 content.
Well, I still have never done that. Water
Highly
horse.
recommend. Water horse.
Water horse.
There's also an air horse. Also on Ginger Island, there's like little things that you can get parrots to carry you places.
Interesting. So that's interesting because if you are being carried by something, is that still a horse?
That
'Cause
makes you the horse.
That makes you the horse.
Yeah.
Even though you are not actually exerting any energy, does the horse have to? We could make like a whole alignment chart of this. Does the horse have to be the source of power here? Because not rider power isn't a term, right? But horsepower is.
Well, I mean, no, because you have like, because in the case of like a bicycle, we consider that
That's
a
true.
horse,
That's a very
but
good point.
you, the rider, are the powerer. So, no.
But if you are being carried by something, you are not. But you're on top of the bicycle. I think that's an important part.
It's
Whereas
true.
the birds are on top of you.
Does that make the birds the riders? I don't think so.
I don't. It's a question of. It's definitely a gray area.
Write in.
Right
Tell
in.
us
If
your
you have
opinion.
thoughts on this, let us know.
True.
Write in if you
then,
don't have
like,
thoughts on this. Please.
because I would assume like a motorcycle is a horse.
Yes.
Mhm.
But then if we say that if you're being carried by something, does that mean if you were in the sidecar of a motorcycle, would you no longer be on a horse?
Ooh.
I think that's just a tandem mechanical horse.
Yeah.
In the same way that if you're in the
It's part of
passenger
it.
seat of a car, the car is still a horse.
If you're in the side horse, you're still riding a horse.
You know what? You
so-
know what? I figured it out. It's not a horse, because you know what it is? It is a sled dog team.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's like a separate thing. It is still an animal, or like an oxen team, where it's like
Right.
you are on, because it is multiple animals working together. In this case, I feel like it is inherently different than if you were being carried by one bird. Then I think that might make it a horse.
Okay, so like Pokemon Sword and Shield, flight mechanic, horse.
That's
but
a horse.
Scarlet Violet, flight mechanic, not
a horse.
because multiple birds.
Yes, that's a sled dog team.
Interesting.
Which makes like multiple horse-drawn chariots exist in a very interesting space between them.
They are in a superposition.
Yes, exactly. Where the chariot is not a horse, but the horses drawing the chariot are horses, and they are a sled dog team of horses.
Yeah, because the horses drawing the chariot are not being ridden, but they are horses.
Exactly.
Because
But they are
they're horses.
exactly.
We're learning so much today.
Now, a car being driven like a jet with two engines, still a horse.
Mm-hmm.
I think. because they're all like directly attached to like without. Okay, I think I think they're to some extent redundant, but without one of them, things go like if. Now I'm not sure. It feels different to me if it's like a jet than if it's like Santa's sleigh. That's a range. That's a sled dog team.
Well, yeah, it's
I
a
think
sleigh
it's because
dog
they're
team.
I think it's because they're pulling it.
That makes
That might be
It's
sense.
like
part of
a
it.
separate entity.
Yeah. Whereas multiple jets on a plane, even though they are all working, there's one power source. That's why.
Right.
Yes, there's one fuel system. That's the difference, I think, here.
Eat
So,
grass, go zoom, but
yes.
sometimes it's minecarts.
So even if you had a hive mind of caribou or reindeer, whichever you prefer, because they all eat separately, that is still a sled dog team.
Yes.
So I think we're at 3, right? We have the
Yeah,
actual horse, we have the minecart, and we have the boat.
the
boat.
boat. So would a hot air balloon?
Yes, because there's one sort. But
Yeah.
if there's
Yeah.
one balloon, yes.
Okay. There's a cutscene where you can be in a hot air balloon.
All
And I
right,
guess there's also one where you ride on a motorcycle. So we got 2
okay.
more horses.
There's
Ooh.
the bus.
There's the bus.
There's a bus.
There's I feel like there's definitely at least one more. There's a truck, right?
Okay.
True,
In the town.
but it's never driven or used.
But I mean, a horse could be in a stable.
Yeah.
That's true. So
Um,
Mayor Lewis's truck.
Isn't there also a car by Joja? Is that a thing? There's a truck. Is
Oh,
there a delivery
there
truck there?
is a truck there until
And they're different types of trucks.
true.
There's the elevator in the mines.
Oh, yeah, and then we got the traveling cart lady. You have the desert trader.
There's a traveling cart lady though. The traveling cart lady has one horse. But is that so the horse itself is a horse there, but is the entire system, because even though it is only one horse,
Well,
it
I
is still
guess
designed in a
technically
way that could allow for more than one horse.
that's true. But also, I guess for the cart lady and the desert trader, it's a pig and a camel.
Interesting. So I guess I feel like those are sled teams of one.
True.
But the horse itself does count as a horse, obviously. But the pig and the camel, then okay. Well, so then we get into a weird thing where does each individual bird count as a horse? That when they pick you up. I would think no.
Probably not.
Because you can't ride one individually. That would not work. So I don't think that works. However, the horse you could ride on its own. So that does count as a horse. The camel you could as well. The pig, debatable.
It's a pretty big pig. It's about the size of a horse.
We'll count it. Big pig counts. I have lost track of how many we're at. There's a lot of horses in this game. This
There
game about
are.
farming weirdly has a lot of horses. It's who could have foreseen?
Weird. Yeah.
And most of them aren't even animals. In the
When the
traditional
knight,
sense.
there's the submarine.
Yeah, there's the submarine. There's the 1, 2, 3, 4 boats that also are there that you can walk on, and then the
All
traveling
right.
cart lady has a boat there, so she
Okay.
at least gets one
We're at
horse.
like at least 17 here, I think.
Yeah, definitely a good bit.
Maybe our most horse-filled game that we've ever had on the show. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Until we have like Gran Turismo on, and then it's like, oh hey, everything in this game is a horse, or like Barbie Horse Adventures.
My favorite game.
Honestly, that might have fewer horses
Probably.
because it's probably just a few horses a lot. You know, you're going for quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Quality time with your horse, the most beautiful time you could have on this earth.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Gran Turismo 6 has the most cars on its roster, so it's got
Well,
over
that might.
1,200.
What video game has the most cars on it? It's probably that game, right?
I just looked
Of
up
any game.
games, yeah. I mean, it's that or like GTA, something with like traffic.
That might be the most horse game ever created.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. If you know of a game that has more horses than Gran Turismo 6, write in. For what it's worth, just not every 1 horsepower is not 1 horse. The car is 1 horse.
One horse is not 1 horsepower either.
Exactly. A horse is like 5 horsepower, right?
Yeah, it's like 3 to
Or something
5.
like that. That's weird. Have horses gotten stronger, or was it always a flawed metric?
Probably
Are
the
we
latter.
are we living in an era of horse inflation? Don't Google that.
And with
I mean,
that,
there's. I was
What are you saying?
gonna. Oh, I was gonna mention that there's a beach somewhere that's like called the 10-mile beach or something, but it's actually only like 7 miles. Don't quote me on either of those numbers, but it
Isn't
was
that where that
because
reactor melted down?
no, that's 3 Mile Island.
I know.
Ugh,
but
doesn't know.
they measured distance by how long it took a horse to travel. But since it's a beach, it's sand, so it
Oh,
increased the length of time for the horse to travel. So the beach is listed as longer than it actually is.
Amazing.
that's a very good question for us to add to think fast. Actually, that's
How
very
long is
interesting.
10 Mile Beach?
How long is 10 Mile Beach?
I'll figure out what the actual location is for you guys.
Hell yeah, thank
Perfect.
you. With that, I think that'll do it for us this week. I hope you all learned a lot about horses and sled dog teams, the 2 vehicles that we have available to us in our society.
Yeah.
And Jess, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/theValiantSun. And you can take the Valiant Sun and put it into most social media, and that will be my account. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. The only thing that's active there is the Twitter, but I stream on Sundays and Wednesdays usually. And then I pop around a bunch of other places, so if you see me in a Stardew Valley speedrunners chat, do feel free to say hi.
I don't. There's a thing that both of us are doing that I'm not sure if it's been announced yet, so I won't say anything about it yet. But you might see both of us in the same place at the same time next month.
It's gonna be
Well,
very cool.
It is. And if you want to see us at at the same place in different times every week, because we're really inconsistent, you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/DearPBPod. You can follow us on cohost.org/DearPB. I recommend the second one. It's more consistent as a website. You can also follow the YouTube or subscribe on your podcast app of choice. It helps us a lot. And if you like the show and you want to get bonus episodes where we read dramatic fan fiction about Angry Birds, and then Swoose doesn't remember which character is speaking at which time because
it's
it's really
hard to
badly
tell.
written. Because it's really hard to tell. It's not your fault. You can subscribe to the Patreon at patreon.com/DearPBPod. DearPBPod. Got it in one.
Perfect.
$3 a month. You get a bonus episode roughly once a month. They're all over the place. Sometimes they're speedrunning related. Sometimes whatever we decide to do that month. We're probably going to read some speedrunning themed fan fiction if I can find it. That isn't about Dream, because that's most of the fan fiction about speedrunners is about Dream, which makes it really hard to find anything good. So check that out, I guess.
Maybe.
I'm sold.
There we go.
Perfect. And we all know how we end things here. Don't be racist.
Bye.